Okay, this is going to be the tutorial for, again, the double exposure photo, but this time I'm going to show you how to create gradients for your the overall image. Well, also how to add the background and then create the gradients. Okay, so if you're trying to get more of like the double exposure look, like almost kind of like how you found it when you Google this. I'm going to Google double exposure. So a lot of these photos have like these different kinds of, well, I guess most of them are all black and white, but some of the photos though they have like more of like a sepia tone to it. So I'm going to show you how to apply those different gradients or like different looks to your the images. Sometimes like just using the landscape colors, that works out fine too. But you just want to like see what your options are when you're deciding on how to color your image. So if you want to create more like the double exposures that we saw on the Google search, the way you're gonna have to do that is you're gonna have to make both of these layers black and white. So in order to make your landscape black and white, obviously you can't do it right now because there's a lock on the actual image. So what you have to do is click on the image, click on the original image, and you want to use a brush, and you get the rasterize the image. So a lot of you probably got this menu before when we did the multiplicity photos. I always tell you to click cancel, but in this case I want you to click OK. Alright, and you're just going to have to be really careful not to do any coloring on this layer. Whenever you do any coloring on this layer, then it's going to stay there unless if you use the Windows history and undo that mistake. Alright, but otherwise just be real careful. But you're going to have to go to image and adjustments, and now you can change the you can change the black and white. So I'm just gonna make it both black and white. That way I can, when I have the gradient over it, it's not gonna mess it up. So now, when you work on your the final double exposure photos, I do want you to think about like a background to add to your image. So in this case, I have like a daytime sky in the image. So I might want to have like a nighttime sky just to just have some contrast to it. So I'm just going to click this image here, and I'm going to have this landscape in the back. Alright, so I'm going to put the, let me resize this landscape. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. Alright, so this looks pretty good right here. So double click. And now I want to put my landscape on the very bottom of the layer. So this is all I'm doing pretty much to add the background. I just click and drag the background, and now I'm just moving it so it fits well with the image. Looks like I got to crop a little bit of the top because it's got something weird on it. Okay. Oh, that's pretty good. Alright, so okay, now if you I think this is kind of interesting adding this mountain here, because maybe I can line this mountain up with that mountain, and you can create some interesting lines to match up your images. Or I'm gonna crop this part. So you do have to utilize all your tools when you're working with the double exposure. So I think that's an interesting line to add, and then this is almost going with that. So these images are almost coming out together real nicely. Okay, so now I added the background. Maybe I might want to blur the background more. So again, since you add that image, you had to rasterize this. So click OK. There's a lot of details going on. So maybe I can do a filter blur. I might do a Geschwand blur. Maybe you might want to blur out the background just a little bit. There's a lot going on. Now obviously you want the focus to be on here. So there's a lot of different things you can do. You can blur it. I'm gonna undo it. Or another thing you can do too is you can change the opacity as well. You can line up the background. So, there's a lot of different effects you could do because you don't want the background to be overpowering, but you want it to be enough where it's, helping the image. So maybe I might want to make this black and white. And, I just want you to play around with your options, see what will help to, enhance that photo, make it look interesting. Alright, so, I think it's kind of interesting what I got here now. Okay, now I want to show you how to create the gradient. So we're going to create a gradient for the image. So you're going to go to your Windows Adjustments. So you want to get to your Adjustments panel, and you're going to go to Gradient Map. So click on Gradient Map, and it'll apply a gradient. It's this white color. I don't know what that is, but you want to get these gradients here. Now, in order to get these gradients here, because you might not have these gradients, you might have, like, I want to reset my gradients. I'll click OK. Some of you probably have this as the default colors. So, I mean, these colors they're okay. They're not that great. But if you click on this sprocket here, or this this gear thing, you can click on photographic tone and just click OK. That's just gonna let you verify you want to use that tone. And these are nice tones you can get with the your gradients. So I like these tones. I like using these tones because they have an interesting look to them. So maybe I might want to do this color. Now it is a little bit extreme on here, so you can always lower the opacity down to line up the tone. Alright, and then you just gotta play around with it a lot, the image. So, and I add the background to this. It's kind of going with that. Alright, I do want to pop this out a little bit more. And ways you can pop it out is if you click on the actual image and you go to Image Adjustments, and pretty much this Adjustments panel is the same exact panel as this Adjustments panel. The only difference is this does the change directly to your layer. So, maybe I might want to add more contrast to her in the picture to make her pop out more. So there's a lot of interesting effects you can do to the image to help pop her out more. Maybe I want to pop up the background as well. You just gotta play around with it. I'm going to tone on the background a little bit more, but not too much. I think this is cool. You know what you could do? Maybe I might duplicate this again. And I'm going to use this layer mask on, well, maybe not on that, but oh, there's just so much stuff you can do with Photoshop. Yeah, I might want to create another gradient. I'm going to do a blue. I'm going to do a red. I'll find like a red sepia. Or I can do... Yeah, let me do this blue here. So maybe I might do this blue. I'm going to drag this layer mask on there. Yeah, I'm going to replace it. And then I got to delete this one. So I'm just going to click and drag this into the box. And, since I used that blue here, I got the... Oh, that looks kind of interesting. I'm going to put the blue on top. So, I just going to tone down this blue a little bit. But, I'm using that blue to pop her out more. So, I mean, you just got to play around with it. You got a lot of different options.